Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon to everybody. Let's start with today's session. Would be more interesting than yesterday because we are going to have some fun and some stories today. Session 3, communication skills. So yesterday we talked about what is sign, what is symbol, and how language is playing an important role. What is alphabet? What are letters? I asked some tricky question and you responded very intelligently. Happy for you all. So we will talk about what is language and what are its major components today. So you can see there are main 4 components when we talk of language. First, listening; second, speaking; third, reading; and fourth one is writing. I have given this list in the order the way we learn language. So we listen first. You can all remember the way you have learned the language. And I'm not surprised that everyone, when they were born, even before they were born, they were listening the language. When the human brain starts developing, the first thing they do is try and learn language. It is so essential as a component that without language, human beings may not have existence at all in society. Now, you may ask a question that isn't that Rakshit Batra. May I know what is troubling Rakshit Batra, or just accidentally it has happened? Okay, if you have any questions, you can use chat box. I will be answering your questions through chat box. And if you have so important questions, you can unmute yourself and raise a question. That's not an issue. I'll stop and try to answer your question as soon as possible. Okay, so it may happen to you that don't the animals have a language? They have a language, but it is not as developed as human beings have. Okay, so they listen, they speak, they don't read and they don't write. So their language is just restricted to listening and speaking. Their speaking would be different than our speaking, and their listening skills would be different from our speaking. So their brain has not developed the components to read and write. So we don't discuss that at the moment. We want to focus on what is communication. So let's move towards further and try to understand what do we mean by each of these and how they are interconnected. So what is language? Language is listening, where you have sound symbols that is known as phonemes. And these phonemes are similar across languages. Sounds are similar. Let me tell you very honestly, the way you say "ka" would be the same kind of "ka" when you hear the other language speakers. The writing and reading might be different. So when you say chemistry, you have C and H combined together to make "ka." When you write Gujarati "ka," the script differs, the sound remains same. So listening is some sound symbols known as phonemes. The second element is speaking. Again, we are using sound symbols, which is known as phonemes. And then there are reading, that is written symbols, which are known as graphemes. The same is used in writing as a skill. So now you have 2 different kinds of symbols in language. One is phonemes and the second is graphemes. Now, important thing here to understand is why we listen. Any answer to this? And I'll give you time to think over it before I allow anybody to answer. Okay, so first question is why we listen. The second question is why we read. The third question is why we write. And then the fourth one is why we speak. These four important questions, if we can answer and if we can, the purpose of why we do listening, speaking, writing, and reading, we would be able to understand communication better, right? Okay, now let's look at this. Reasons, when we look at the reasons, we will talk about whether they are personal reasons or very individualistic reasons or not. And then we will find out how they are interconnected. What you see in front of you is a language component written in a different way than we understand. Each of them are interconnected. You read, because I have written, you read, and you try to interpret what I have written, and then based on whatever reading and comprehension you have done, you will speak later on, or you will write, right? So first you will listen, and then you will speak. First you will listen, then you will read, or first you will read and then you will write. So these are very interconnected issues which allows us to use language in day-to-day life. Now we'll see how they are connected and what is the relation between them. Okay, so let me give you some time to think over it. Why we listen, why we speak, why we write, and why we read. I'm giving you maximum 10 minutes to write at least 3 reasons why you speak, read, write, and listen. You can give me your answers either on my email or on WhatsApp, right? You have 10 minutes to do so. You can submit your answers in a voice note on WhatsApp or even written notes on my WhatsApp. So let's have some time to think about it and give me some 3 reasons why we write, why we read, why we listen, and why we speak. The time is yours.
અહીંયા મોબાઈલમાં ભરાયેલો છે પડી જશે યાર શું આ લોકો મુસીબત ક્યાંથી લખો છો મારું
So you have few minutes to give me 3 reasons for each of them. Why we write, why we read, why we speak, and why we listen. Give me 3 reasons.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Sure, my dear, I can. Why we read, why we speak, why we write, and why we read. Take your time and write 3 reasons. If you are using pen and paper, you can take a picture and post it on my WhatsApp. Okay, I have started receiving responses. Good. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Good. Right. Good. Very good. On the points. Yes. Okay. Right. 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 Very good. Okay. Somebody deleted the message. Okay. That's good. No problem. Okay. You are still typing. I can see some of you are really on to the task. Good. Very good. Yes. Yes. They are interconnected. Okay. Okay. Right. Yes, language is not an issue. You can write in Hindi, Gujarati, whatever you are comfortable. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. समझ में आ रहा है. Okay. Okay. Good. Very good. Okay. Somebody sent a photo. Very good. Okay. Okay. We will talk about effective communication. Okay. Right. Okay. Again, somebody deleted the message. Please don't do that. Don't worry, this is not a final examination submission, so don't worry about the marks and all that, okay? Just chill. Okay, okay, good. To know about or to learn, yes. Communicate with, yeah. What major answer is coming is that we learn to communicate. We love to communicate. Right. Yes. To understand others. Yes. Very good. So the amount of answers I'm getting, I'm not able to cope with your answers. So you are many and I'm one. So if I'm not taking your answer, don't consider that I'm not reading your answers. Yes, communicate, to talk, share feelings, to recognize, gain knowledge, improve vocabulary. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. Okay, why we speak? We speak to express ourselves and tell other people what we feel. Very good. We speak so that communication takes place between two or more people. Very good. हम इसलिए करते हैं किसी को मोटिवेट कर सके. That's good. किसी का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. Yeah, that's right. किसी को नॉलेज दे सके. That's good. We'll see all that. Okay. Okay, very good. We do something, we write because to learn something new. Good. Very good. Yes, to express our thoughts. Good. Communicate. Yes. To remember something. Yeah, that's also true. Yes, yes. These are all fundamental elements in language. There are various language exams too, according to me. Yes, me. Yeah, yes. Okay, okay. Yes. So we speak to interact with people, obvious human behavior. Yes, that's right. It's without human interaction won't be, the society won't exist like the way we do exist today. Good. I'm receiving responses from Niyati, Vanchita, Shrija, and I don't know who the person is. I have not saved your number. So I think it's Princey Kanabar. That's right, Princey. Okay, okay. So,
Sir?
yes.
Sir?
Yes, yes,
Sir,
yes.
can you repeat? I have joined just now.
Okay, no worries. My question were, okay, wait a minute. There are 3 more people waiting. Let me admit them. Okay, so my question was related to the previous slide. If you have not joined on time, this might be the problem. So my question was why we listen, why we speak, why we write, and why we read. Last year, I asked this question to my first year students and I got a very funny answer, sir, to pass the examination. I thought, wow, that's a good answer. So this is actually very interesting to see your responses, the way you are saying. Whatever you are saying, mainly you can differentiate between listening and hearing. What I'm getting from, we listen carefully, then we will have the basic understanding regarding the topic, right? So I am able to understand that you know a lot about communication skills than I do. Of course, I can help you to learn things, but you already are aware of what is communication for, what are the purposes of communication. So I don't need to teach you the purpose of communication. You already know it. Now, when I say you already know it, and still we have miscommunication between and among the society, members of the society, is very interesting phenomenon. The reason is, when it comes to communicate what we want to communicate, there are lots of things. You might be surprised that how many thoughts you have when you start composing a message. We'll talk about the process of communication, composition, encoding, and all that. But there are thousands of thoughts when we start to communicate. So our mind is faster than our tongue. Our mind is faster than our hand. So when it comes to communicate what I want really to communicate, my mind is thinking something else. So let's say I want to communicate with you the definition of communication. So my mind will think of what is communication, but at the same time, when my words, my mind gives me the vocabulary and the grammar to use to define the word communication, my mind already has already started thinking about the process of communication. So you see, when we start speaking something, our mind is ahead of our tongue. When we start writing something, our mind is ahead of our hand. So there is a race happening between mind and tongue and hand. So we have to control that in order to communicate effectively. I will give you an example of how effective communication can take place and what are the problems related to that. That is on a later stage. We'll discuss that. So those who have responded to my WhatsApp and have answered, I'm definitely going to come back to you. Once I have read all the answers, I will respond to you personally, and we'll discuss on a one-to-one basis. And that's a genuine promise, and I do all the time with my students. Okay, so let's move, considering that you know why we do that, what we do. Then let's talk about what is communication. So communication is to share, as you have already said. So I'm not going to discuss all that in detail because you have given me enough answers to talk about. You know more about communication than I have presented here. So it's to share, it's to make common. Whatever you know, whatever your understanding is, whatever your meanings are, you have made it common. आप जो भी समझते हैं, जो भी अर्थ आपका दिमाग निकालता है, आपकी जितनी भी कैपेसिटी है, जितना भी मीनिंग आप ढूंढ के लाते हो अपने दिमाग से जान करके, वो सोच समझ के, वो आप शेयर करते, साझा करते हैं, and that is to communicate. ये हम डे इन एंड डे आउट करते हैं, इसके बगैर हमारा कुछ काम चलता ही नहीं है. और ये बात हमें याद रखनी चाहिए. It's an interaction, as you have rightly said, that it's an interaction between participants. See, I asked you a question, why we read. I asked you 4 different questions and you have all responded. So there is an interaction that is happening between you and me, right? And this interaction is based on what we understand by the word communicate. Why we write, why we read, why we listen, and why we speak. So this is an actual interaction, a real life interaction taking place. If you were in the class physically, I would have asked you the same question. But it is an interesting platform that if we were in the face-to-face classroom situation, not many would have answered this. Almost all of you have answered this question. Even in the chat box, I can see some of those responses. Yeah, I understand, but I gave you the option to write on WhatsApp, and that's why all people gave me the answer on WhatsApp. So I never said no to anybody, right? That you cannot speak. I can say you can write or you can give voice notes, whatever. Okay, let's move on. Let's not waste time in that. The next is, it's a two-way process. I asked and you responded. Now you are asking me something and I'll respond in the meantime. So what the response is from my side, that if you want to speak, you can unmute yourself or you can raise your hand. I can see it on my screen. So you can have a voice. So don't worry about that. We will have time. Okay. So it's a process that changes every movement. Every second it changes. Even if I am sitting here and I'm not able to see your faces, our interaction pattern changes. And this is a very dynamic activity. Dynamic in the sense that it is changing ever. Right now. Okay, let's try to understand this with an example. What do you see here? What do you see here?
Modern kitchen.
Okay, that's a modern kitchen.
Modern kitchen, sir.
Okay.
Kitchen.
Now see, you have used two different words. Some of you have said it modern kitchen and somebody said it's just a kitchen. Now see the kind of language input you are trying to give. Now look at this picture. Abhishek Bachchan is in the kitchen. Let's imagine he is in the kitchen and he's thinking, what shall I eat today? Now suddenly our Bollywood mother Nirupa Roy enters and she says, Deepu beta, yahan kya kar rahe ho? Do you think that whatever Abhishek Bachchan is thinking right now, staying in the kitchen, his ideas about eating will change as soon as his mother enters the kitchen?
No, sir.
Do you think it's no? Okay, when I enter
Sir?
into the, yes,
The idea will be not changing.
yes, but then something will change. What will it change?
He will give reason.
Okay, he will
Topic.
give, yeah, he will give reason, he will give topic, he will talk to his mother. So what has changed, that he was talking to himself and suddenly somebody enters in the same place and his line of thinking gets disturbed. So positively here, of course. So he will talk to his mother now. Before that, he was talking to himself, what shall I eat? And then mother initiates the conversation. Deepu, you here because I'm hungry, ma, I want to eat something. And they are talking what to eat, what not to eat, what is in the fridge and what she can prepare in the meantime. वो बात कर रहे हैं कि क्या पकाएंगे, कैसी भूख लगी है, ज्यादा लगी है, कम लगी है, मैगी खाएंगे, नहीं खाएंगे. He will talk about that. Mother will respond, ये है फ्रिज में, ये है, आइसक्रीम खा लो, फ्रीजर में से कुछ निकाल दो, ओवन में गर्म कर लो, कुछ भी खा लो. That's not an issue. भूख लगी तो खाना तो पड़ेगा. That's the conversation they are going to have, imaginary conversation. ऐसा कुछ बातें कर रहे होंगे. But then somebody like him enters the room. Mr. Govinda will enter the room and he will say, hello, auntie. Does his entry into the kitchen will change anything?
He will not understand what is happening, so he will question what's happening.
Okay, and
Once again, topic will be changed.
that's it. And So now you see the conversation which was taking place with one person in the beginning now has shifted to two and then more than two. So the entire conversation will be around in the kitchen. That is the environment of the kitchen. The context would be food and everything related to the kitchen and food. So you can see one person talking to himself, what shall I eat, changes to kya ho sakta hai, kaise ho sakta hai, kya ban sakta hai, kitna jaldi ban sakta hai. जब तीसरा कोई आदमी आता है, कन्वर्सेशन को इंटरप्ट करता है, तो एक जो चेन बनी थी वो चेन टूट जाती है और नया टॉपिक बन सकता है. चलो ना यार बाहर चलते हैं. That may be the question. अरे यार कितने दिन से मैगी खा रहा है, ये कितने दिन से लॉकडाउन में पड़े रहे हैं, चल कुछ बाहर खाते हैं. अभी तो अनलॉक 1 भी हो गया, अनलॉक 2 भी हो गया, रेस्टोरेंट भी खुली है, चल चल चलते हैं. And then all three of will be conversing on a topic which is already established. So this process is very dynamic as soon as somebody enters into the periphery. अगर आपके आसपास कोई जैसे ही आता है, आपका कन्वर्सेशन है, आपका जो लाइन ऑफ थिंकिंग है, आपका जो टॉपिक है, वो थोड़ा सा चेंज हो जाता है. इसीलिए इस प्रोसेस को हम डायनामिक प्रोसेस कहते हैं. जैसे अभी आप मुझे शायद व्हाट्सएप पे कोई कुछ भेज रहा है, कभी आपके ही ग्रुप में से कोई मुझे कॉल कर रहा है कि मुझे एंटर करो, देन हमारा जो कम्युनिकेशन है, जब मैं ये बात कर रहा हूं तो टूट जाएगा. वो कैसे टूट जाएगा आपको पता ही नहीं चलेगा, क्योंकि मैं अपना माइक यहां से बंद कर दूंगा. सो यू विल बी गेसिंग व्हाट द हेल इज गोइंग ऑन. इज देयर अ नेटवर्क इश्यू और व्हाट इज द इश्यू ऑन द अदर हैंड. सो यू विल स्टार्ट थिंकिंग अबाउट द प्रोसेस. Right? Any questions so far? Okay. Now, what do you see on your screen?
Graduate student is happy.
Okay, that's good. Anything else? Can anybody see anything?
Sir, a girl has thrown her cap in air.
Okay, right. और कुछ किसी को दिखाई देता है?
She is in the university premises.
Okay, that's what the problem would be because everybody would start at the same time.
Photograph is also nice.
Okay, thank you very much. It's not mine. Somebody
कॉन्वोकेशन का सीन लग रहा है.
Yes, that's right. Okay, anything else? Now I will show you some more images, and you can either enjoy or let's say it's a boring picture. What do you see?
Accident, bike accident.
Accident bike.
Okay.
Accident bike. Bike accident.
Wait. Now I want you to remember the responses from others as well, okay? Because this is going to be very interesting. So somebody said accident and somebody said motorbike, somebody said, okay, let's go on. The next one. What do you see?
A man falling from cycle.
Stunt.
Okay.
He's doing some stunt.
Okay, very good.
Stunt.
Okay. Is he really doing a stunt?
करने गया.
Oh, yes, that's
वो
it.
स्टंट करने जा रहा था और वो गिर गया.
Okay, good, great. Okay, let's look at this one. See, he says, I fell off the motorbike, right? See the usage of the word. Somebody said bike, somebody said motorcycle, somebody said motorbike. And he says, I fell off the bike. Now, is there any difference between bike and motorbike?
Yes, sir.
Yes, there is. There is a huge difference.
The way of running.
No. The way it operates, not runs. The way it operates. The cycle is operated with your legs, whereas the motorbike runs on an engine, right? So there is a difference.
4-stroke engine.
Yes.
You don't know what stroke engine it is, so you take your words back, okay? Okay, so now see, there is a difference, great difference. When I say I fell off the bike, in normal Indian context, If I say this without showing you the picture, which you see, the man on the bike, a motorbike rather, you would always think that I am driving motorcycle and then I fell off, right? So see the difference of words, motorbike and just bike. If I use the word cycle and motorcycle, again, there is a difference in the words. Look at this picture, look at this. This gives you what kind of understanding of the words you have, the objects, the concepts, and they refer very important aspect in communication. Like somebody said, he is doing stunt. It's maybe he's not doing stunt. He actually met with an accident. And the person in the cycle I'm talking about, the person in the motorbike actually slipped off. It's not an accident. It's just a slippery surface. So the way you see the image will determine what understanding you have for the object or concepts or even ideas, right? So आपको ये समझना है कि मैं जो देख रहा हूं वही समझ मेरे सामने वाले में है या नहीं है। अगर नहीं है तो क्या होगा, अगर नहीं है तो क्या करना चाहिए। यहीं से आपका इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन का प्रोसेस शुरू होता है। हमें सबको एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म पे रखना है ताकि मैं जो भी कहूं, ऐसा कोई गीत है ना, जो भी नहीं ऐसा कुछ, आई डोंट नो, ओके, मेरे दिमाग में एक गाना बजा था, मैं जो भी कहूं, ऐसा कुछ गाना है शायद, आई डोंट नो, इफ यू कैन रिमेंबर यू कैन रिमाइंड मी। ओके, द नेक्स्ट इज we need to understand. The basic idea is to understand whatever we have understand, we share it with the rest of the group. And what do we mean by understand? Means to perceive. How do you perceive the idea, the concept or the object? And then how do you interpret it? So it's not just understanding. There are layers of process here. One is to perceive, the second is to interpret, and the third is to relate our perception and interpretation to what we already know. Perception मतलब हमारा दृष्टिकोण क्या है, हम जो दृष्टिकोण से कुछ देखते हैं तो उसका अर्थघटन हम कैसे करते हैं, उसको हम इंटरप्रेट कैसे करते हैं, और वही इंटरप्रिटेशन हम जो जानते हैं उससे हम कैसे रिलेट करते हैं। मुझे लगा कि ये जो आदमी पहला मोटरसाइकिल पे गिर रहा है वो स्टंट नहीं कर रहा था, उनको एक्सीडेंट नहीं हुआ था, बिकॉज स्लिपरी सरफेस थी तो वो गिर गया, बस इतना ही मुझे पता है। और दूसरे पिक्चर में मेरा परसेप्शन ये कह रहा है कि जो अगली वाली ब्रेक होती है ना, फ्रंट ब्रेक्स, वो उसने प्रेस किया होगा और आगे कुछ पत्थर आया होगा तो वो ऐसे ही गिर गया होगा। अगर आदमी आगे गिरता है तो उसका मतलब ये होता है कि उसने फ्रंट ब्रेक लगाया है और वही फ्रंट पे कहीं उसका जो फ्रंट टायर था वो कहीं हिट करता है और वहीं से वो आगे पड़ता है, आगे गिर जाता है, एंड ही इज नॉट एंजॉयिंग दैट मूवमेंट। सही है। तो हम जो जानते हैं, हमारी जो समझ है, वो समझ हमें साझा करनी है, अंडरस्टैंड करनी है, वही एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है कम्युनिकेशन का। यही देखते हैं क्या कर रहे हैं ये लोग, ये दो, एक लड़का है एक लड़की है, क्या कर रही है?
They are clearing the talk.
Okay, they are having a talk, but is it just a simple talk? What is happening?
No,
Can you?
sir.
No, sir.
No,
Girl
sir,
is in
not a
talk.
simple
ऐसा
talk.
सीन लगता है।
They are having an argument, sir.
Okay, now see how
Yes,
you.
sir, they are having that.
Okay, you see.
लड़का
can
कुछ
also
डांट
say
रहा है और
that boy
लड़की,
is telling something and the girl is in the shock.
Okay.
गर्ल कुछ क्लैरिफाई कर रही है अपने आप को।
Girl is boy.
Okay.
When they are
Okay. Thank you for your responses. Now it is clear that we have an argument or expression of emotions in this first picture. Look at this. The second one. What these people are doing?
Ideas.
Okay, they are, yeah,
idea.
that's okay. What is
कोई
this?
प्रोजेक्ट डिस्कस कर रहे हैं.
Yeah, right.
Project discuss.
And what is this third picture about?
Graph
A
picture
graph.
will
ग्राफ
show
है.
It's a bar
Practical
graph.
report.
decrease
Okay,
in the
now
statics.
that's very
Percentage.
good. I like the word decrease, right? So this is an insight into the written form of communication. Very good answer. Okay, look at the next one. What is happening here?
Sharing from
That's
a Zendo.
very good. Very
Phone.
good. What is this?
They are sharing
Sharing
photography.
desserts.
Okay, sharing again.
Okay.
Okay, now the difficult question and the tricky question. I love
Sir, they
minions.
are joining the pieces of cake into one to show the unity.
That's a very clever answer. Very clever answer. Okay, let's move on, and we have less than 2 minutes. I want you to differentiate between the minions and the rest of the images. How minion is different than rest of the images? My
The
favorite.
is
minion
alone.
is one.
Yes, that's right.
And
That's
that are in a mass.
very good. Very good. So
And
you
a
see.
minion is a cartoon.
Okay, yes, great. Now you see the difference is when you share an emotion or an idea or an insight, it can be done with one or many. This is the minion raising his hand is an aha moment when you are talking to yourself. And this happens a lot. You try to talk and thinking a lot, and then suddenly you discover, suddenly you get an idea and you say, yes, I got it, like Eureka. So this is what sharing means. You either share your meaning with one or more people. When we say meaning, remember the word bike and motorbike or even motorcycle. So whatever your meaning is, you share it with others. Like somebody said that they are not taking the cake away, they are joining the pieces of the cake to make one, to show unity. Good answer. What if the meaning is not understood? This is your time to answer. We have less than 1 minute and we'll continue in the next session if it closes. Next session means next day, not today. Okay. What if meaning is not understood?
We get confused.
Okay.
Misunderstanding हो जाती है and it can create an argument.
Okay, good.
I went in the wrong path.
Okay,
Miscommunication.
very good.
Misconceptions.
Misguidance.
Very good. What do you do to avoid this?
Clear the talk or talk to somebody.
Okay.
Will